Tonight, an ambitious plan to stop the war in Gaza, Egypt's proposal for peace. Calls for a ceasefire and a phased hostage release.
It's a comprehensive three-phase plan.
As the death toll from the bitter battle mounts. The traditional broadcast from Buckingham Palace.
I believe we can find hope for the future.
The King's first Christmas address since his coronation. Plus, disruptions and delays during peak holiday travel.
How is it possible that we are caught with this by surprise?
The passengers who had their plans dashed.
CTV National News with Omar Sachedina. Reporting tonight, Heather Butts.
Good evening. No break in the brutal fighting or loss of life that has defined the conflict and desperation in the Middle East. This weekend, one of the deadliest stretches in the 11-week-old battle between Israel and Hamas. And on this Christmas Day, one of the holiest places on earth has gone quiet. CTV's Colton Prale reports.
In Bethlehem on the West Bank, Christmas celebrations are muted because of the Israel-Hamas war in Gaza. A giant tree that usually marks the holiday, missing this year.
The whole world is celebrating Christmas this year, but not Bethlehem, not the birthplace of our Lord Jesus Christ.
In Gaza City, dozens gather for small celebrations, while much-needed aid parcels are gifted from the sky. This year, thousands celebrating the holiday displaced from their homes. We're not able to reach our church, this man says. I cannot simply go pray, let alone feel the holiday spirit. It comes amid heavy shelling in central Gaza, killing at least 100 people overnight, according to the Hamas-run health ministry. This man lost his wife and 4 children. What are we supposed to do, he asks. Where do we go? To whom do we express our concerns while the world watches us being slaughtered? In Israel, relatives of the hostages interrupting the prime minister in parliament as pressure mounts to free the more than 120 people still held captive.
We expect them to do anything they can to bring back the hostages now.
Earlier in the day, Benjamin Netanyahu made a rare trip into northern Gaza to meet with Israeli troops, promising to continue fighting until the end. Today, Egypt proposed a new peace plan based on the release of hostages and Palestinian detainees, along with the creation of a new Palestinian government of experts to oversee Gaza and the West Bank. Heather.
All right, Colton, thanks. Iran is vowing revenge against Israel after a high-ranking general was killed in an airstrike near Damascus. Iranian state media says he was an advisor of the country's Revolutionary Guard based in Syria. He was described as a close companion of another Iranian general killed in a U.S. drone strike 4 years ago. Pope Francis made a Christmas Day plea for peace when reflecting on conflicts in the Middle East and around the world.
Si avvicini in Israele e Palestina.
The pontiff also denounced the weapons industry and what he called its, quote, instruments of death. Ukraine's Air Force claims it shot down 2 Russian fighter jets and intercepted 28 drones as the country observed Christmas on December 25th for the first time. The government changed the date from January 7th, when the Orthodox Church celebrates. Many Ukrainians embrace the change as a way to unite while distancing from Russia. People gearing up for long-distance holiday travel were grounded at Vancouver's International Airport this weekend, not because of bad weather, but staffing issues. Here's CTV's Craig Krause.
Another year, another issue at YVR. 22 Christmas Eve flights impacted as NAV Canada scrambled to replace absent employees, triggering a limit on air traffic in Vancouver days after the airport CEO said,
"There's nothing that we've seen in our discussions with our partners that would lead us to think that there'll be issues because of staffing delays."
But there was, and now the Canadian Air Traffic Service is saying they're working to solve it with industry partners to safely support airline efforts to keep aircraft moving expeditiously during the holidays, leading to political finger-pointing as passengers pay the price.
How is it possible that we are caught with this by surprise?
Air passenger rights expert Gabor Lukic says the situation is challenging because it's unclear when the airlines were told.
At least on its face, NAV Canada seems to be taking some responsibility, but we don't know where exactly the breakdown happened. Was it a breakdown in a prediction that this event would happen? Was the breakdown in the communication to the airlines that this would happen? Or was the breakdown by the airlines just ignoring the warning that they had ahead of time?
Monday morning, air traffic was running smoothly again.
It's still in the back of my head, if they were going to make it in time, if their luggage was going to be lost, things like that. The Christmas season, that tends to happen most of the time. But yeah, I'm glad everything worked out perfectly.
Just in time for Noel Colombe to pick up his family to celebrate the holidays. Craig Crowe, CTV News, Vancouver.
An unforgettable holiday adventure for a Winnipeg traveler scrambling to make it home from Minnesota.
There was such intense fog that the pilots were unfortunately unable to land. Maybe I'll try to drive. I think I found a rental car, and I happened to be standing next to two individuals who did not know each other. They looked at me and said, "Can I come?" And I thought, okay, why not? Let's do this.
And so 4 complete strangers jumped in the rental, trekked for almost 9 hours, told stories and listened to Christmas music. They all made it home to their families. A Canadian visionary who tailored his business to luxury men's clothing, Harry Rosen, has died.
He built an incredible brand for himself that really raised the bar for men across the country. Every man that ever had anything to do with Harry gleaned so much about style.
The men's boutique bearing Rosen's name was founded in 1954. The retailer now has 20 stores across the country. An Order of Canada recipient, the menswear mogul is regarded as a true gentleman. Harry Rosen was 92. Coming up.
To care for this creation is a responsibility owned by people of all faiths.
King Charles at the center of a royal holiday tradition. In his first Christmas Day message since his coronation, King Charles spoke of the importance of helping those in need during this period of economic turmoil, and he paid tribute to those who are doing their part.
Over this past year, my heart has been warmed by countless examples of the imaginative ways in which people are caring for one another, going the extra mile to help those around them simply because they know it is the right thing to do, at work and at home.
The second year of his reign saw many challenges, including 2 prime ministers, a struggling British economy, and a fractured royal family. Now, with number 8 in our top 10 stories of the year, here's CTV's Jill Makashon.
A man who was the longest-serving heir apparent in British history was ceremoniously bestowed the crown in May with his queen, Camilla. King Charles III ascending the throne as his ancestors have done before, inheriting the role from Queen Elizabeth II, whose unprecedented 70-year reign earned her a beloved status among the British public. But even on this day of pomp and ceremony, it was the fractious royal family that was front and center, and the fallout from a newly released memoir by Prince Harry, who arrived at the coronation alone. In the book titled Spare, the Duke of Sussex describes the rigidness of life as a royal, the trauma over the death of his mother, and why he and Meghan, the Duchess of Sussex, chose a life in America instead of one at the royal table. King Charles was also dealing with the continued fallout concerning his brother, Prince Andrew, who was stripped of his military titles and royal patronages after he was previously involved in a sexual assault lawsuit. The victim was connected to pedophile Jeffrey Epstein. The case was settled out of court. And this year is ending as it began, with another tell-all book, Endgame, which reignited discussion of a royal racist. The book claims not one, but two members of the extended royal household raised questions about Harry's son Archie's skin tone.
All the revelations that have come from those three things have really sort of put a dampener on this year where he wanted to forge his own way. And it hasn't been, I think, the year that King Charles III would have wanted.
Britain's colonial history has become a flashpoint in recent royal tours through the Commonwealth after Barbados severed ties with the monarchy and Jamaica is considering following suit. A recent trip by the King and Queen to Kenya reignited demands for reparations in that country.
We have to demand a public apology from the government of British because of the atrocities they meted on our people.
The King addressed the painful past but stopped short of an apology.
The wrongdoings of the past are a cause of the greatest sorrow and the deepest regret.
There are more challenges ahead for a king who is seeing problems abroad and at home. Charles's approval rating now hovering around 60%, while the future King and Queen, Prince William and Princess Kate, are the most highly rated royals. It's expected the two will be seen traveling more in the coming year, with a likely stop in Canada. While the 75-year-old king will continue to follow the traditions of his mother, he is also an avid environmentalist with a keen interest in sustainability.
All the things that he was mocked for as a young Prince of Wales, have completely come full circle, and he is now seen as the sort of grandfather of this current almost movement.
In December, the working royals closed the year appearing a family united, but questions concerning the missing half, Prince Harry and his family, continue to dominate the tabloids.
What can we expect from 2024? My goodness, probably more of the same. I think if you'd asked me before the end of the publication of Endgame, I would have said that there was a chance that reconciliation was on the cards, certainly between Prince Harry and King Charles III. I would like to think that that is still the case. When it comes to the brothers, I'm not so sure. I think probably the wedge that's driven between them is too great at the moment.
You can be sure the world will be watching as a new chapter for the royal family is written and the new king finds his place on the world stage. Jill Makashon, CTV News, Winnipeg.
Still ahead, picture-perfect Christmas snaps with Santa. Celebrating the season through pictures often involves Santa. Tonight, CTV's Adam Sawatsky features friends who've been marking the occasion for the last 12 years.
Yeah, I know. Rather than a partridge in a pear tree, that first photo at Christmas, Kierden says, simply featured friends on a mall Santa's knee.
It was an excuse to do something fun in the middle of school, the school day.
So much fun, Costa says, there was no need for a few French hens to entice more high school friends to participate in the following year's photos.
It was just like a fun way to celebrate our friend group.
But like calling birds lead to geese a-laying and swans a-swimming in the song, the Friends costume collection only increased every year.
So it was Hawaiians.
Wearing bright shirts and baby sunglasses.
We have done Western.
Dressed to impress the maids a-milking, unlike the year of the housecoat.
I wore my gross old bathrobe that I've had since I was 10 years old to the mall.
And who needs doves when you're wearing turtlenecks? Or rings when you're sporting far more than 5 golden chains?
We've always attempted to get bigger and better.
Like the 11th annual photo, when they set up a rented green screen in their middle school gymnasium to pay tribute to Da Vinci's Last Supper painting, featuring Kierden's grandpa, a professional mall Santa with a business card to prove it.
He'll do gigs and appearances wherever you need him.
While ladies dance and lords leap, over the years, many of Kierden and Costa's friends have left. But no matter where they attended university or started careers, they've always returned home for the holidays for the picture, except during COVID.
You know, we have our challenges and ups and downs, but if you put in that energy and you work through things, then yeah, over time, you can end up with 12 photos of you and Santa together.
Which brings us to this 12th year of Christmas, where instead of pipers piping or drummers drumming, it's the elderly aging.
I hope that at some point we're going to have Santa photos with kids and Santa photos with our grandkids and, eventually maybe I play Santa. And
And after countless photos at Christmas, this is how these true friends hope they'll be, still posing with Santa for all to see. Adam Sawatsky, CTV News, Victoria.
Coming up after the break, from our family to yours, a special season's greetings. That's our newscast for this Christmas Day. I'm Heather Butts. Morella Fernandez will be here tomorrow. We end our show tonight with our yearly salute to our talented team, the people who bring you CTV National News, CTV News Channel, W5, and ctvnews.ca. Some names are familiar. Most work behind the scenes. So as we say goodnight and thank you for watching, here's our custom credit reel for 2023.